So, as it pertains to Alabama basketball news, few things have happened since we last discussed. A couple of things that I actually forgot to mention or that have happened immediately following that charity exhibition. First thing, obviously, the charity exhibition against Wake Forest was for a charity, right? The charity that they were doing to benefit was Alabama Children's Hospital, and the team did go visit Children's Hospital. There were some videos and photos that came out. I'll post some of those here, where the team did go visit Children's Hospital. They, visited with the kids, signed some autographs, just brightened some people's days. It was really, really cool to see that. Obviously, really good when the team can kind of give back to the community, especially when they've played a game to raise money for a good cause such as this, right? Another thing I forgot to mention about that charity exhibition is Davin Cosby was in the house. Davin Cosby, for those of you that are unaware, was on last season's team. He had a pretty big game against Ole Miss and played some sparingly until he broke his foot and then was out for kind of the remainder of the season. But Davin Cosby ended up transferring this offseason and transferred to Wake Forest. And so during this charity exhibition at the very beginning, they had a little bit of a ceremony where he got his Final Four ring, as well as, was able to get some pictures with Nate Oates, hug some of his teammates. Everybody was able to congratulate him and wish him well on the season that is to come. As it pertains to the next exhibition, this is going to be the charity exhibition in Huntsville against Memphis. I want to just issue a quick correction. And if y'all saw in the comments of the video where I discussed it, I accidentally misspoke and said that was going to be happening on Saturday the 28th. That's going to be happening on Monday the 28th. I just completely misspoke on that. Somebody corrected me. I just wanted to make sure that I issued that correction. That charity exhibition is happening on Monday, October the 28th. Stay on the lookout for that. I will put out any additional information about that as it comes available. But that is the next thing that we have to look forward to as it pertains to basketball, seeing the team play. I know I've talked a little bit about the JNJ apparel Tide Thursdays. There's another one of those coming up this week for homecoming, and that is LeBaron Philon. So if you are interested and want to have a chance to meet LeBaron, have him sign an autograph, get a picture, that is going to be happening this Thursday, 5:30 to 7 at JNJ Apparel. For those of you unaware, it is 20% off basketball merch during the event. So if you are interested in getting any basketball merch or meeting LeBaron Philon, he's going to be having at J&J this Thursday till 7 o'clock. One of the commits for basketball that we've talked about over the past couple of weeks was Amari Allen. He committed, I believe, on November the 10th or so. He visited back at the end of August, but he is actually going to be on campus this week for homecoming. So if you do see him around, I would, give him a shout, congratulate him for joining the Crimson Tide and knowing that he's going to be on the team coming up in the future. The next thing's a little weird, right? So as it pertains to the Players Era Tournament, we've talked a lot about it over the offseason because when we talk about the non-conference schedule and the difficulty of Nate Oates' non-conference schedule, part of it shifts around the fact that we're playing in this Players Era Tournament, that's the NIL tournament happening in Las Vegas. Originally, we thought that the 3 games were going to be set because that's how the format originally was set up, was that Alabama was going to play Houston, then Rutgers, and then Notre Dame. That has since changed. So Alabama will be playing Houston Game 1 and Rutgers Game 2. However, Game 3 is going to be, depending upon where Alabama is seeded on their side of the tournament, they will be playing the seed corresponding from the other side of the bracket. The reason why this is so confusing to me is a couple of reasons. One, it's not set up like a true bracket where it's winners play each other. So there is a possibility where Alabama could win both games. And so, for example, so could Notre Dame, right? Because Alabama doesn't play Notre Dame. So in theory, we could both be 2-0 heading into the next. And so I just don't understand what the tiebreakers are going to be. It's just going to be a little bit weird from that standpoint. But the other reason it's going to be super weird is on the other side of the bracket, there's Texas A&M and Creighton. Creighton, Alabama already has a game scheduled with this season. So if they play them already in the tournament, that's going to be a little awkward just because they do have their return trip to Coleman Coliseum that's going to be happening this season. And then the Texas A&M one is just completely impossible because for those of you unaware, these MTE tournaments that happen over Thanksgiving, part of the stipulations of that is you cannot play somebody from your conference. It's the reason why most of these tournaments end up only having one team from each conference. However, the way this tournament was originally set up, obviously it was super easy to have one from, two from the same conference because we were never had a possibility of playing each other. So I'm a little confused how this is fully going to work out. For example, what happens if Alabama and A&M are both technically the one seed? How would we be able to play each other? To go after the $1 million in NIL prize fund that's for the winner of this tournament. It just seems a little confusing to me. I don't think this was fully thought through, and that's really, really confusing given the fact that this tournament is supposed to be happening over Thanksgiving. But for those of you, on the lookout for that, that is what we know to be happening as it relates to the Players Era tournament. I will post the bracket that they've posted online. As I said, there's definitely some flaws in the bracket from what I can tell, but this is what they put out, and so this is obviously what I have to work with. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about was Alabama has 7 guys in the NBA currently, on NBA rosters, and those 7 guys are Keon Ellis, Herb Jones, Noah Clowney, Colin Sexton, J.D. Davison, Brandon Miller. But our new addition is Alex Reese, and I wanted to shout him out because for those of you unaware, Alex Reese was a senior on Nate Oates' original team back in 2019, and Alex, had stayed. Obviously, he was recruited back in Avery Johnson time. He's from Pelham, Alabama. Was a 4-star kid, and then played on Nate Oates' original SEC championship team with Herb Jones. And then immediately following that, he quit basketball and was a bartender, and then actually went overseas and played overseas for a little while and has kind of worked his way now back to the NBA. And just want to give a shout out to Alex Reese because, props to him for being able to kind of achieve his goal, go the long way, get back to where he wanted to be in the NBA. And it's just really, really cool for him. I'll post a video here that I have from that SEC championship, him running through the confetti. I was able to share the video with Alex, and one of my friends had some videos of Herb and Alex because we had really good seats for that game. And he was able to kind of, we were able to chat with him and get some of those over to him. So it was just really, really cool. Really cool to see him, kind of live out his dream and get to the NBA, which obviously is the goal for the majority of these players.